Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Murlidhara Radha Murlidhara Radha Jaya Gaura Chandra Jaya Gaura Chandra Jaya Gaura Chandra Jaya Gaura Chandra Nitai Gaura Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Nitai Gaura Hari Bo Sai Gaur Premanande Hari Bo. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavati Sevayam Prodiptam Shruti Viprovati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, the General History, Chapter 3, Liberation from Illusory Energy, Text 50 and 51. Achādau hridaye chāpi yatha labdhopacārakai dravyakṣityātmalingāni nishpātya prokṣacāsanam pādyādīna pakalpyātha sannidhāpya samāhitaha hridādibhi krutanyāso mūlamantreṇa chārchayet. Whatever Archadau, in the form of the deity and his paraphernalia, Hridaye, in the heart, Cha Api, also, Yadha Labdha, whatever is available, Upacharakai, with ingredients of worship, Dravya, the physical items to be offered, Shiti, the ground, Atma, one's own mind, Lingani, and the deity, Nishpatya, repairing, Proksha, sprinkling with water for purification, Cha, and Asanam, one's seat, Padya Adin, the water for bathing the deity's feet, and other offerings, Upakalpya, getting ready, Atha, then, Sannidhapya, placing the deity in his proper place, Samahitaha, concentrating one's attention, Rit Adibihi, on the deity's heart and other places of body, Pritanyasa, having drawn sacred marks, Mula Mantrena, with the appropriate basic mantra for worshipping the particular deity, Cha, and Archayet, one should offer worship. Translation and purport by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. The Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Prabhupada disciples ki jai. Translation: the devotee should gather whatever ingredients for worshipping the deity are available, make ready the offerings, the ground, his mind, and the deity, sprinkle his sitting place with water for purification and prepare the bathing water and other paraphernalia. The devotee should then place the deity in his proper place, both physically and within his own mind. Concentrate his attention and mark the deity's heart and other parts of the body with tilak. Then he should offer worship with the appropriate mantra. Purport. अतः श्रीकृष्णनामादीन् न भवेग्राह्यमिन्द्रियै सेवोन्मुखे हि जिह्वादौ स्वयमेव स्फुरत्यदा. The absolute truth can never be understood by ordinary material sense perception. The conditioned souls engrossed in the vain pursuit of material sense gratification are completely indifferent to the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Their materially conditioned minds are always impure and disturbed by the endless flow of material dualities, such as prosperity, poverty, winter and summer, fame and infamy, youth and old age. Such disturbed conditioned souls cannot recognize the personal presence of absolute truth in the form of deity. The Lord's incarnation as Archa Avatar, the deity form, is a specific manifestation of Lord's mercy toward the materialistic or neophyte devotees who are still under the influence of material designations. They are unable to perceive the Lord in his eternal abode, and therefore the Lord descends as the deity form, manifesting the Prakasha incarnations and even the Swayam Prakash or the original form of the Lord. The Prakasha incarnations exhibit various pastimes within this world, whereas Swayam Prakash, Lord's original form, is the source of all the avatars. To one who sincerely worships the deity manifests himself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Those who are most unfortunate cannot even recognize the Supreme Lord in his merciful deity expansion. They consider the deity an ordinary material subject. But by surrendering at the lotus feet of a bona fide spiritual master, who is a pure devotee of the Lord, one can learn to worship the deity as mentioned in this verse, and thus revive one's lost relationship with him. One who considers such transcendental deity worship to be equivalent to idol worship is grossly covered by the three modes of material nature. A person wearing rose-colored glasses sees the entire world to be rose-colored. Similarly, those unfortunate living entities who are thickly covered by the material modes of nature see everything, including the Supreme Lord, as material due to their polluted mind. ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. Seeking the blessings of all the devotees, assembled devotees, and then Srila Prabhupada, so that we can discuss something beneficial from this verse today. So this is a conversation between Avirhotra and then Shri Maharaj Nimi. And then so Maharaj Nimi is asking questions, and then so Avirhotra at one point says, so somebody who's really interested in making spiritual advancement, so he should start worshipping the deity of his own, liking. I mean, under the proper bona fide process, and then he's telling that process in a systematic way, and today he's giving all the details. So we were attending a deity workshop course, deity worship workshop course, and then so the devotee in charge and the material, everything, so they were focusing on one point. The entire essence of deity worship, success, lies in the one basic principle, that treating deity as a person. So that is a success. That is the basic principle we have to, which cannot be compromised. So what does that mean? So when we understand deity as a person, so we treat the deity like any other person. And then the relationships are also should be personal. And this is one thing, even when other devotees are there, how are we dealing with them? So we have to be careful sometimes when we go in an impersonal mode because of lot of services, unintentional. So today we'll be discussing one, case study, a little bit in depth. But the thing is, so we have to be very careful in our dealings with the devotees and in our dealings with the deities, just like we deal with any other person. So very careful, following all the rules and regulations, so that the mood of respect is always maintained, even amongst devotees also. It's always safe for us to be, better safe than sorry, we say, right? So following rules and regulations are very important, so that because this is Kali Yuga, the age of misunderstanding, quarrel, and hypocrisy. So following rules with presence of mind, not just mechanical. Following rules with presence of mind will help resolve those misunderstandings, like offering obeisances, like whenever we see mm, the devotees offering pranams, also wholeheartedly, not just mechanically. So then what will happen, even though some misunderstandings are there because of the fast-paced life, we don't get time to talk with each other, but a simple etiquette of offering pranams to a fellow spiritualist practicing bhakti yogi, so that resolves a lot of, unnecessary headaches. So etiquettes are always important, so it is etiquettes are the real ornament of a Vaishnava, so we follow those etiquettes when dealing with the fellow practitioners. And when we are following those with our practitioners, we should do that with lordships also. So that's like dealing Lord as a person, deity as a person. So offering obeisances and then following all the etiquettes. So yeah, we live in a metropolitan city, and so, but sometimes we also understand that when we enter the temple, we take darshan of the Lord. The Lord also takes darshan of us. I mean, Lord also sees us, So how we dress, how we, present ourselves in front of the Lord. Like we go to an interview, so we dress very nicely to impress the panel. Similarly, when we go take darshan of the Supreme Lord, so as far as possible, so we try to be presentable. So there are like in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, there are a lot of uh, mm, things mentioned, so which will help one to progress in the path of Bhakti. 64 items are mentioned. So out of that, the top five are, of course, the first is Nama Sankirtan, chanting the holy name of the Lord in this age of Kali Yuga. It's the simplest process, easiest process, and then the strongest process to connect ourselves to Lord, and then advance. Nama Sankirtan, and then Vaishnava Sangha, like this is attending Bhagavatam class, and that uh, hearing in association of devotees, and then sharing. And so Vaishnava Sangha, and then Bhagavat Shravan, Bhagavat, so reading scriptures, especially Srimad Bhagavatam, which glorifies Lord. And then the fourth is Srimurti Seva. So it's deity worship. Deity worship is given, importance in one of the five, as one of the five important aspects. And the last is Dham, Mathura Vas, staying at Dham. It's good. Out of 64, there are top five, and one of them is deity worship. Great. Out of 64, five. So what about the other 59? And the remaining 59, out of the remaining 59, almost 35 items, close to 35 items, are connected to deity worship, or connected to deities. So in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it's so meticulously explained. So how we have to take care of the deities, so nicely, and how we have to present ourselves, conduct ourselves in front of the deities. So definitely, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the mood of, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nama Sankirtan in Kali Yuga, chanting of the holy names is the most important thing. But why then Rupa Goswami, in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is emphasizing so much, details about deity worship? Because, so it works both ways. So when we take care of the deities, so our uh, eagerness to chant the holy names will increase, and vice versa. So when we chant the holy names of the Lord, so the personal feelings of the Lord towards will arise, and then that will translate into take care of the deities. So taking care of the deities. So Lord is a person, and then when Lord manifests as a deity, we just take care because Lord is coming just for us, so that He's giving an opportunity for us to take care of Him. So that is such a wonderful thing. So recently, my wife was sharing in Singapore, so she was doing deity worship. So that, so one senior Mataji devotee, she was telling that when they were Jagannath, Balbhadra, Subhadra deities. So they were wiping the Lord's body with the warm water and everything, warm cloth. So then she was telling that just meditate when we are doing this. Just meditate. So this particular seva is actually done by Yashodamai, wiping the Lord's body with, wet wipe and things like that. So that particular seva we are able to do. So how fortunate are we? And this is because mercy of our spiritual masters, our lineage, who gave us this opportunity. So it's not just anybody can just go and then wipe the body and then have the same feelings. Those mature thoughts will come over a period of systematic practice of bhakti, systematic surrender, reading scriptures. So then we'll be able to actually have that proper mode, and then Lord will reciprocate. So it works both ways. So following rules and regulations are very important in order to uh, uh, advancements, to get those intimate feelings towards deities. Okay. So that's why 35 aspects, 30 out of 64, 35 of the angas. So they go towards taking care of the deities. So yeah. Srila Prabhupada many times in his interactions. So we all know, like he used to go to a particular temple and then he used to take darshan of deities for some time. So it was like a conversation happening between Srila Prabhupada and then, all the deities are this, so are this congregation, they are able to take care of you properly. Are they giving you proper prasad and proper offerings in time? So it was like a conversation, Prabhupada was taking darshan of deities and then he was happy. And sometimes Prabhupada was, saying, so in one of the temples, they were opening the darshan little bit early, so after lunch and then evening darshan. So they were opening little bit early so that they wanted to perform lot of nam sankirtan. So that for the pleasure of the Lord. So then Srila Prabhupada, once he came, we saw the deities and then he said, the deities look very tired. He openly said, the deities look very tired. So then saying, Prabhupada, we were just cutting short that afternoon closure by 1 hour. Prabhupada said, no, Krishna is like a young boy, no? 16 years old. So he needs some rest. So that's what Srila Prabhupada said. He needs rest. So he needs timely food, bhoga, and then he needs proper rest. So this is what Srila Prabhupada was telling. And also, so these are etiquettes. So we need to. So there is a balance. So recently one incident happened. Maybe pujaris in this call they understand. So there was extreme cold in New York all of a sudden, and then in the night we need to cover the deities with extra shawls, and then so the shawls were people were not knowing, where are the shawls? They were like, what happened? Where are the shawls? They were in anxiety in the night dressing. The shawls are not visible. So one Mataji, she somehow got a shawl, big enough shawl, and then she covered all the three lordships, Mahaprabhu and then Gaurchandra, Radha, and then they were very warm and then everything. So one shawl, big shawl, and then she could cover all the three personalities. Um, and then next day somebody posted early morning version. Oh, the lordships are looking very cozy. So Vasudeva was very happy in one sense, so the lordships are taken care. But at the same time, Vasudeva said that, okay, so we need to make sure that this is not the ideal standard that one shawl for all the three people, and then but we will ensure that the shawls are properly available, and then this we need not repeat this or imitate this sometime. So this is one thing. So one is taking care of the deities. It's very important, and then other thing is balancing rules and regulations. So there's we have to be very cautious when we are dealing with the deities. So this is very important. Deities reciprocate. So once what happened, I think Janita Prabhu was in the call, you may know better. So in London, so they started offering milk sweets to uh, deities. And then initially they were very frugal in their offerings. They were offering very minimal amount. But later, they started offering six types of milk sweets. So it continued for almost an year or more. I mean, they started. So, and then after 1 year, literally, the pujaris who were dressing the deities, they were finding it difficult. The dresses were not fitting the deities. So this was surprising. So most of the dresses were not fitting. So, and some people may say that, oh, this is too much, what you are saying. But that's the fact. So deities reciprocate to the extent lovingly we serve. So lordships reciprocate. So I mean, serve in a proper etiquette and in a proper process. So now the thing is, okay, so we are serving deities and everything, but we should understand uh, deities are not existing for our satisfaction, or our mitigation of our pain or anything like that. So so this is what so when we are worshipping deities, it's not that we do that for relief from material distress or something like that. Sometimes misunderstandings can happen. So there's one case study. So we will discuss 7:42 already. So maybe we will try to wrap up by 7:50. So there is this Gajendra Moksha pastime. So where the elephant was delivered from the crocodile. So it's a very famous pastime. Uh, so once the elephant was delivered, Lord came and then killed the crocodile, everything was over. So then in Srimad Bhagavatam, the following chapter comes, why, the reason behind all this, the past life of the elephant. So Indradimna Maharaj. So they start describing what happened, why actually the elephant got elephant body. So it's actually the previous life was like of the elephant was Indradimna Maharaj. He's an exalted person, so there's a very nice verse, very easy to remember. It's 848. So eighth canto, fourth chapter, eighth verse. So it's a very beautiful verse about deity worship. So, so this is like Sa ekadaradhana kalatmavan grihita mauna vrata ishwaram harim jatadharastapasa aplutochutam Samarchayam Asha Kula Chalashrama. So here they are describing this Indradumna Maharaj. What was his state? So he's an exalted person, but the thing is, what are the qualifications of Indradumna Maharaj? He retired from family life and went to Malaya Hills, where he had a small cottage for his ashram. He wore matted locks on his head and always engaged in austerities. So this is what Jatadhara and Tapaso. So austerities. And he was observing Mauna Vrata, observing a vow of silence. And he was fully engaged in the worship of the Lord and absorbed in the ecstasy of love of Godhead. So he was like Samarchayan. So he's like Archa is like the deity worship, and Samarcha is like the topmost of the deity worship. So he's perfected his thing in deity worship. So, but what happened all of a sudden? So now you are focusing on deities, you are expressing all your respects and admiration. But as said, uh, misunderstandings do happen, calamities do happen. Not that you are worshipping, we are following a particular process of spirituality. Calamities will not happen. No, sir, it's not like that. I'm chanting my 16 notes japa. I'm regularly attending, Mangalarti and whatever. So I'm serving the lordship so much, serving the community so much, and then still I'm getting problems. So this is it's a very nice statement. No spiritual activity should be considered as an insurance and indemnity against calamity. So it's not like an insurance policy that okay, nothing will happen to us. So, but the thing is, you know, so this is what happened here. Indradumna Maharaj was perfect in his worship, but what happened? All of a sudden, a sage came, Agastya Muni, along with his disciples. And then Indradumna Maharaj was unable to acknowledge him because he was so much absorbed in the worship of the deity, which is a perfection, of course. And then, so he was like so upset. Agastya Muni was so upset. So he was like, uh, and then he cursed. He cursed Indradumna. He was giving the reasons that so this Indradumna, he's like he gave four reasons. He's like a sadhu. He was not like a, gentle in his dealings. A sadhu, and then his duratma. He's a low person, and then akrita. He's not educated properly how to deal with sadhus, and then avamanta. So he's disrespectful or blasphemous. Well, not blasphemous, but offensive. So that's why he's behaving like a very dumb person. So let him get the body of an elephant, which is like a very dumb animal in one sense. So that's how Agastya cursed him. Hmm. So the thing is, see, the point is, he was doing deity worship, he's exalted, he's having love of Godhead, and then he got all of a sudden this curse. So this is Gauranga Prabhu says this is a circumstantial misunderstanding. It's a misunderstanding, you know. So it's not that he intentionally ignored Agastya Muni. So he was absorbed, and then Agastya Muni felt okay, he was not received properly. So it's a misunderstanding, genuine misunderstanding, circumstantial. Now the thing is, a person who is exalted in a particular spiritual activity, now Sankirtana, dictatorship, how he handles the situation is most important. Not that calamity came, but how he handled the calamity. So that's what shows the perfection of the process. So Indradumna, what he did. So of course there are a lot of points. Srila Prabhupada was telling in 8.4.10. So he was Indradumna Maharaj. He understood. Okay. So he said, Dishtam tat upadhare. This particular reversal, what came in his life, because he gave up everything, he's a renounced person now. And then all of a sudden he got a curse. So he started contemplating. Okay, he never took a revenge. So there are things. He felt that this is a plan of the Lord, superior will of the Lord. Lord, thy will be done. Thy will be done. So let your will be done. So you are in control. Deity is in control. He knows. I am worshipping the deity, but still I am getting some reversals. So he had that faith that the Lord is in control. So and then and then he also felt that actually I got this calamity, but this is just a token. I'm supposed to get, I might have committed a lot of mistakes, but Lord is very merciful that He is just giving me this small thing. I should have got much more maybe, but so that was another way of another way he was contemplating. And then of course I might have done something past, so it's coming back. So I should not see Agastya as the person. It is Agastya Muni is just a tool. So this is what he started. And then what is his next plan? Okay, calamity came. So what is his next plan? So he said that he said, Lord, my service to you should not be interrupted. So that was the mood. I'm worshipping you, but I've got this calamity. I'll stop worshipping. I'll get the body of an elephant. I'll go and then I'll break all the temples and then all the deities. No, that was not his mood. He said, okay, Lord, but my service to you should not be interrupted. I should be serving. So that's when Lord came, when crocodile was troubling, Lord came and then Gajendra offered a flower. So as a worship. So, and then my remembrance to you should continue. Undisturbed meditation I need. And then I, I want to be always dependent in whatever is the circumstance. So this is the darshan. You know. So when we now 8 o'clock darshan opens, we say darshan. So when we take Lord's darshan, so we get a prasad. So obviously some prasad. So darshan is there is another way of darshan. See everything in life. You know, the hand of the Lord. So this is what is the dependence of the Lord. So every activity, whatever is happening in our life, so we see the connection of the Lord. So this is also a darshan. And then, so the thing is like, how will we get that darshan? Through another darshan. So that is the scripture. The scriptures are also called darshans. So that will help us see the connection of the Lord or hand of the Lord in everything happening around us. So Srimad Bhagavatam is also called darshan. So the scriptures are called darshans. They'll help us see things in a proper perspective. So that's what he was uh, asking. And then, I mean, that's what his course of action, Lord, I should be able to see the dependence on you in every aspect. And then he said, Lord, you are my ultimate protector and then, maintainer. Rakshishyati Vishwashu Gopatatyod. So these are the two things, so that is his desire. So, and then, so this is what. So whenever there is a relationship, Srila Prabhupada said these four things happen. So there is always there is a scarcity, there is an impediment, discomfort, and unhappiness. So whenever there's a relationship, but the thing is, like even out of this, when we continue, that is the sign of pure love, in that particular relationship. So, and here Indradhamma Maharaj exhibited that, his relationship with the deity, but, so there is some impediment is there, and then some shortfall, and then, some unhappiness because, so he's taking a different body and then things like that. But still, he wanted to continue this love. So this is the perfection, Samachaya. So he perfected the process of deity worship under bona fide guidance. And then, so he could handle that calamity, in a proper perspective. Uh, so, yeah, and then, of course, later Lord himself came to rescue uh, Gajendra. So that's how, Lord reciprocates with the devotees who have surrendered to him. So the most important thing is when we go through the scriptures, darshans, it's not that we try to manipulate, the will of the Lord or to understand the will of the Lord. That's not the purpose. The entire purpose of scriptures is to submit to the will of the Lord. So we wind up today's discussion. So we saw the instructions of Avirhotra to Maharaj Nimi. So he was telling all the details, how to do the deity worship in a very personal way. Clean the place, bathe the deities, and then mark the deities with tilak. So it's like a very personal dealing. So and then dealing deities as a person is the essence of deity worship. And then we saw how Srila Prabhupada was taking darshan of various deities in temples. And then he was giving instructions, how to take care of the deities in a very personal way. A deity is not different from the Lord. He's a person. Deity is actually a person. And then, so we saw also the case study of Maharaj Indradimna, where he excelled in his deity worship, but still calamity came during the deity worship itself, but he was not like rebellious, or like cut off my service and things like that. That shows the perfection of the process. What was his outlook and things. Thank you so much. Sorry, I overshot time. So,
Thank you, Krishna Daya Prabhu. Wonderful class. A really great point you're making that our service goes on no matter what. That's the mood. Thank you. Krishna says in the scripture that he carries what we lack and preserves what we have. Isn't that the immunity or indemnity from calamities? Isn't Krishna supposed to carry what we lack? Krishna, I'm lacking some peace of mind. Please take care of this calamity so I can surrender to you finally without distraction.
Krishna protects, the peace of mind is a very small thing. So Krishna protects much bigger things. Krishna protects our faith in him. So that is more important. Like peace of mind or a beautiful family. Krishna, please protect my beautiful family. Or please protect my good paying job. So Krishna may not do that because he's a loving father. He knows what is good for us. He may give. Sometimes he may take away those things. So sometimes loving father snatches away things from a baby, and then the baby cries. Babies, when you take away something from baby, baby cries, but the father knows. So, but it's for the ultimate good. So Krishna definitely protects, but his his protection is at a different level.
Thank you for that explanation, Krishna Daya Prabhu. Jamuna Jaya, followed by Venu Madhuri.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Daya. Thank you so much for a beautiful class. There's so many things to reflect on, but I'll talk quickly. One, thank you so much for reminding us that the deity is a person. Sometimes, and you're right, in Bhakti Restaurants, it's do all those things. And sometimes when we enter the temple, we don't pay down obeisances. We get talking to someone else, and it's like you've been invited to someone's house and you don't greet them first. It's to remind ourselves that they're there. You came over to that person's house, and what an honor it is for those of us that get to do that direct service. That Krishna is so kind to come down and give us this way. He doesn't need my flower, but he gives me the opportunity. And then the last thing I just is reminding me of the beautiful story Radha Raj wrote about in the journey home about that man named Ganesham who lives in that little cabinet in that house. You remember that story? And his devotion and to the deity service, and he lives in a closet and sleeps with a little tiny cloth, but his connection is so beautiful, and that's what we have to remember is a person, and the way we want to serve our bestest friends. That's what we should think about the deity. So thank you so much for reminding us of that. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Jamna Jayadevi. In fact, once Arjuna Prabhu, like I was standing in front of Srila Prabhupada and then I was talking with somebody else, and then Arjuna Prabhu said, just move aside from Srila Prabhupada. He's sitting there. I said, oh, yeah, I'm sorry. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you. We need to be very personal, like coming home to somebody and then I can't. Thank you so much. Yes, Venumadri Devi.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Daya Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. And I can see why you're Ananda Vihari's all-time favorite speaker. So I actually have two questions. One is I read somewhere in scriptures, I can't remember where, I know it was in the scripture though, that it said that if you have sort of a disagreement with another devotee, like some kind of quarrel with another devotee, that you shouldn't, like before you even come to the deity, with a gift, you should make peace with that devotee. Is that first? So that's one. Maybe you can answer that. Like where is that stated, and how should we understand that? It struck me
Uh,
at the time.
I also heard that, Mataji. But one thing is like when we go in front of deities, we should not go with an angry mood, very
Mm,
painful mood, sorrow mood. I know one Mataji, her grandmother left, and she was like in front of Radha Madana. She started crying so much, so much. And then Vasudev Prabhu requested, can she go a little bit behind? And we see, oh, this person is really painful, and then you're asking her to go away from the deities. So the idea is like we go to the deities, of course, we share our heart, but we need to be a little bit sober. I mean, going in front of deities in an angry mode or in a painful mood is not much recommended as per the scriptures. So that's one of the etiquette. So that we can get the darshan of the Lord properly, and proper
mm,
darshan will mitigate our, all pangs, all, this thing. So, yeah.
yeah.
Sorry, I mean, darshan is coming. I may not be able to elaborate much. Yeah. Thank you for the wonderful question. Very important. Yeah.
Can you hear me? I think I lost you a moment. Oh yeah. Okay, sorry. I lost you for one moment. This might be an after darshan question, but what is the simple answer when somebody says, well, why isn't this just idol worship? Especially if that somebody isn't in the movement, but maybe that's for after darshan. Hare Krishna.
Please. The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can obtain pure devotional service. I bow down to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From him, ecstatic prema emanates, and by him, ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor and the Lord and master of the devotees. You guys don't know the chant for the spiritual master? I was doing internal meditation.
Jai Srila Prabhupada, Jai Temple Room. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Welcome to the Afterglow. So we're going to talk about grudges, about
Jai
holding
Srila
grudges.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai! Jai Prabhupada.
Maybe
Hare Krishna.
just, yeah, maybe just one small thing. Venumadari Devi, she was raising one very important point. I mean, just a thought. Like when we want to send a mail, so we carry the mail and then we put it in a letter box, which is, which has a particular color or shape. Now they don't exist, but much. We don't keep it in any box. So we just keep it in a proper letter box. Then only we are sure that it will go to its destination. Similarly, when we are driving on the road, suppose the traffic signals, they don't work. So we see a particular person in the jacket, and then he will be directing the traffic. So we'll just follow him. So not that any random guy come in between and then he does something. So we may not be able to follow, but so somebody is authorized. So this is the difference between idol and deity. So idol can be anything, but deity means, proper, well, it's like proper authority, came in proper parampara, came through proper process. There's a, um, of course, deity welcoming and then prana pratishtha, all these things are there. But for a new person, we can just say this. So bona fide. So this is bona fide where our things are answered, or at least, so we can share. So that's the difference between idol worship and deity worship. Idol means like anything we want. We can take a Coca-Cola bottle and then we can start worshipping. That is like an idol worship. But deity worship doesn't encourage all that. Even proper deities also, if we don't serve them properly, so they don't manifest. They cease to stop manifesting in that. So we give bhoga, we take care of them, so then they manifest. I mean, that is for our understanding. I'm just sharing. But for a new person, so we can just simply say this, that. So some few examples like that. I don't know if that helps.
Thank you. Yeah, sorry, Krishna. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bhima Kaviraj.
Haribol, can you hear me okay? I'm
Yes,
out
Prabhu.
out in the woods by a running ice cold river, It's busting against the rocks. As they say, a babbling brook. It's babbling, and there's a breeze in the trees at 8 below here, but it's beautiful. Everything's covered with snow. Everything is sort of in stasis, and yet at the same time, in the stillness of these woods and the snow, everything frozen in place. The river is still flowing hard. And we have to understand that we have the deities and we have the temple, but Prabhu, perhaps you can expand on the fact that Prabhupada said deity worship is the first step. You did say that for beginners. But we all have to understand that a lot of us so-called beginners also come from a slightly spiritual background or have some kind of assimilated certain types of relationships, personal relationship with what we feel the divine was before we came to the movement and understood fully, more so, and in a deeper sense, what the divine is. But that we come to understand that beyond the deity and higher than the deity are the devotees. So if we have a grudge against a devotee, do we think that the father with 2 children fighting is going to accept the love and adoration of the child if that child has aught with her brother, if she is very angry and spiteful and resentful of her brother, let alone her husband or his wife, etc.? So that is meant by when Christ said, before you make an offering, if you have any beef with anyone, you have to go and make it right. He also said, and this is very important, Thomas came before him and said, how many times should I forgive my brother who has sinned against me? 7 times? And Christ said, 7 times 70, for it be that the Lord hath forgiven you many times beyond that. So we ask for forgiveness from the Lord, but are we holding a grudge, or are we forgiving 7 times 70? And then, of course, beyond the devotees, and never trying not to hold a grudge, in times of conflict, and learning to cooperate, as Prabhupada said, is the most important thing in this movement, is learning to cooperate. The next thing is to realize Krishna as the deity in all living things, in all living things. And when one comes to that point and takes everyday so-called mundane moments like walking down the street or walking in the woods, saying hello to somebody, if one takes all that as one's worship of Krishna, that the love that we feel that we're getting from Krishna with all his tolerance and carrying of our shortcomings, that we offer it, as Adi Purush often says, we take what we're being given and give to others, and therefore the Lord will have more to give us. So this level of deity worship, which we have to understand what the word deity means, and that means the divine manifest, and that the divine manifests him and herself, not only in the temple, on the altar, with a particular set of rituals, but that we understand those rituals are our breath, our sense of beauty, our sense of adoration, our need to serve at all times with everything that is alive, because it is all representing Krishna. That's what I've learned from this class, from Adi Purush, from Radhanath Maharaj, and I find it all encompassing, because one can simultaneously have great awe, veneration, and adoration towards the deities, but at the same time try their best to bring that on home to those who are close to them. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yeah, thank you so much for wonderfully keeping those points. Yes, Prabhu, that is very true. So, of course, there is this explanation, right? Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyama, and Uttama. So the initial neophyte sees only deities as the all, so then they don't acknowledge the devotees. They come to the temple only for deities. So, but what you said, so deities are of course there, but respecting devotees and then seeing lordship everywhere where we go out. And then, as you said, deity is there in everybody's heart, like Paramatma. and then respecting everybody. So then actually Lord feels happy when we go. It's like darshan, we take Lord's darshan, Lord is also seeing us. But if we have that great mood of respect towards devotees, and then if we have some issues with other devotees, we try to resolve. We may not be able to, we may not be successful in resolving, but at least we made genuine efforts to resolve those. So Lord is happy seeing us. It's two ways. We will also be happy, and then Lord is also happy seeing us. Goodly, they're becoming happy because of us. So that is a great thing. So yeah, that is true, bro. Thank you. Thank you for sharing all those wonderful stuff. And then yeah, it's not an easy task respecting, settling all the issues with devotees. But yeah, so we can try, and Lord sees that we are trying. Yeah. So
Thank you, Krishna Daya Prabhu, Bhima Prabhu, Venamaduri. There's one thing that wasn't quoted in this class. It's the instruction that was given by Srila Prabhupada to us, which is cooperate, work things out. If you want to please me, work things out.
I said it. Give me credit, dude. I
Oh,
said that.
shoot.
You gotta
Did
cooperate with me, man. Repeat what I say, not what Prabhupada says.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Bhima Prabhu. Thank you. I once tried holding a grudge against Bhima Prabhu. I couldn't last 5 minutes. It's amazing. Grudges are heavy. Such an unnecessary burden. Jai. Okay. Would anyone like to speak? No. I think we sorted out everything.
Haribo.
Taranath Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Something that's just coming up for me from this whole topic is, and there's deity, so there's deity worship, and so in as Prabhu was saying, in the different stages of our bhakti, Kanishta, Madhyam, Uttama, and it's important to hear about where we want to go in our deity worship, whereas, you know, we have to start as Kanishtas, being very respectful and being very careful, is saying in front of the deities. But we hear the Leela of Sanatana Goswami. He used to do parikram every day around Vrindavan. And one day on his parikram, he's walking and he sees this beautiful cowherd boy walking in front of him. And he just was shocked. Wow, I've never seen such a beautiful boy. He was so attracted. I can't take my eyes off him. And he just started following him. He couldn't go anywhere else but follow this boy. And all of a sudden this boy slipped into the to this house, the doorway of this house. Sanatana Goswami said, "Where did he go? Where has he gone? Oh my, where?" And he went and he looked in the doorway of the house and he saw these children playing. And he went in and he saw the children playing with, I believe it wasn't so clarified, but I think they were playing with a deity of Krishna. It wasn't Krishna himself now. It was that boy turned into, and went in, and now he's the deity, Madan Mohan, the deity. And so Sanatana Goswami was shocked. What are these boys? They're playing with this deity as if he's just something like a toy. What is this? And then he went in and further he saw the mother and he said, "Mataji, what are you doing?" She said, "Oh, I'm cooking for Madan Mohan." And he said, "What? Your kitchen is an absolute mess. How could you cook for the Lord like this?" And he chastised her. He said, "You have to clean the kitchen and then you can cook for the Lord." So and how could you allow these children to play with the Lord like a toy? What is this? You guys, you're making such offenses. And she went and she said, and she got her husband and they begged forgiveness and said, "I'm so sorry, we're making such offenses, so sorry." So then that evening, Sanatan Goswami, he had a dream. And that dream, Madan Mohan came and he said, "Why are you disturbing the play that I'm having with my friends. These are my brothers. They're my family. They're playing with me. I love it. I love when they play with me. And then he said, and you chastise my mother. I love her cooking, and I love how she prepares the prasadam. Why are you chastising her? So Sanatana Goswami came back the next day and he paid obeisances to the family. He said, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. The Lord is so pleased by how you're treating him in such a personal, loving way. And then he had, in that dream, actually, Madan Mohan said, I actually want to come with you now. And Sanatana Goswami let them know. Madan Mohan said he wants to come, and they gave the deity to him. And that must have been very difficult. Oh my God, they were so, attached and had such a loving personal relationship. And then Sanatana Goswami was taking care of Madan Mohan, and he was cooking rotis. He basically only would cook rotis. And so he was a little loose and he wasn't putting salt. And Madan Mohan came to him again. He said, why are you not, can you at least put some salt in the rotis? They're so dry and there's no salt. Come on. So then he said, well, there's a whole Leela about that. But he said, well, I don't have any salt. If you want to provide, you provide the salt. And then this long story short, the ship got stranded in the Jamuna, and bringing big things of salt. And the person who the captain of the ship, he went and he started looking for people that could help him. And somebody said, go talk to the saint. So he went to Sanatana Goswami. He says, I'm my boat is stuck. Is there some way you could help me? And Madan Mohan he got the boat out, and he was so grateful. He brought salt for Madan Mohan and built him a temple. But so we have to, anyways. The story, this shows us that we should look forward to Krishna. We may not feel the interaction right now, but Krishna becomes so personal and interactive with us. The deeper we want to invite him to be personal in our life, to want to have a real relationship. Haribo.
Thank you
Thank
so much. That's a very nice story, of course. But thanks for sharing the Madan Mohan, the previous thing before Sanatan Goswami. That was very interesting. So yeah, that's how Sanatan Goswami got Madan Mohan deity. Thank you for sharing. Wonderful.
Bhima Prabhu, you're out there in the woods, so watch out for a boy walking in the woods. Don't take him for a snowman. Maybe Krishna.
He may play
Okay.
his flute and make you run.
Yeah, that's right. You never know. Krishna is real. That's the bottom line. The deities are real. Sweet. Thank you very much. Isaiah, Annabelle, if you're still here, please. Isaiah, Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Annabelle, Hare Krishna. Please unmute yourself and chant Hare Krishna loudly.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you very much. Annabelle and Isaiah, Krishna Daya Prabhu, and Adokshaja.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Sadhvi. Thank you. Have happy Sunday, everybody. We love you. We need you. Thank you for your association. Hare Krishna.